edition of Heshy Show. This is going to be a very interesting show. We have a wonderful person on the show tonight, Mr. Derrick Gibson. He's candidate for governor. Finally, we have a real fine man that's going to be governor, and he's going to be just a great part of history. He's a true conservative, and he appeals to the common man. And finally, if you want to just get free of tyranny in New York, and oppression and bankruptcy, he's our man, and we're going to talk to him tonight. We're going to tell you his website, but I'm going to introduce my beautiful co-host, Boomy. How are you, Boomy?
I'm the beautiful co-host. I thought Sawyer was the beautiful co-host.
You're a handsome co-host.
I'll take that. How do you do, Heshy? It's great to be here, and it's great to have the honor of having Mr. Derrick Gibson here, and I'm sure that he's going to make a great governor. He's going to have to do it, but he's got a lot of work to do.
He's got a lot of fixing to do.
All the damage that was done by Cuomo, and that's a tall order.
Sawyer, my beautiful co-host Sawyer.
To be here.
You know, Sawyer made both me and Boomy go out to comb our hair. She says that we don't have enough hair and we better comb it straight.
I said,
Thank you,
with
Sawyer.
what you have, you need to, work it.
Well,
Sawyer, you are hurting our feelings.
Anyways, everybody, we have a wonderful show tonight. We're going to talk about a lot of things, especially to Mr. Gibson. We're going to talk to him about all the stuff he's going to do, but we're going to make this quick. And we have High Tech Web Group. High Tech Web Group, they just do wonderful sites. They construct your site with skill and precision so you could finally experience a whole new world of business. High Tech Web Group, 212-235-2777, 212-235-2777, or you can reach him at info at hitechwebgroup.com, info at hitechwebgroup.com. Go ahead, Sawyer.
We have TT Styles. She'll do your hair, wigs, makeup, weddings, events, and all affairs. You can reach Tehila at 516-362-6484. That's 516-362-6484. And check out her Instagram at TEETEESTYLES1. And Tehila at ttstyles.com. Again, 516-362-6484. And Boomy, what does she do?
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, ladies only, she brings out the beauty in you.
Just for your knowledge, everybody, we have super chats on our YouTube, so if you want to send in a question for Mr. Derrick Gibson, you can do so. I'll be watching your questions. I see all of you saying hello and joining our YouTube web group. Sending your question. We have a super chat. We'll be taking all your questions later on.
I want to hear your quote.
We're going to
your
get to the
story, and I want to
We
do our
have
shout-outs.
Cooks Power, a family-owned and operated company serving the Brooklyn community and local areas, committed to quality and superior customer service. They specialize in residential and commercial lighting installation and repairs, as well as wiring or rewiring of your home or business. You could check out their website at www.cookspowernyc.com. or call Cooks Power at 347-794-8236. That's 347-794-8236.
I want to tell you something about Cooks. My car was stuck yesterday, and I have people calling all over by the snow. What can I do? This community is so good. And I'm going to tell this to Mr. Gibson, how people who wanted to volunteer, people who wanted to go help people, drive them to the doctors, that's what this community did. I was so proud of them. They went shoveled in. I thought I was a big shot. I was driving all over the snow trying to help people.
I saw you all over the snow.
And then I got stuck myself. I was so embarrassed, and I called my friends, and all of a sudden Cooks shows up. I said, Cooks, I don't want you to be here. He says, what are you talking about? Me and my boys will dig you out in 5 minutes. I said, you can. I've been trying for an hour. And 5 minutes had me dug out. So not only should you use Cooks Power for your electric and all your needs, and he helped my clients a lot this week, use Cooks Power because it can dig you out of the snow too. Thank you, Cooks.
Call Cooks Power and live a happy life.
Whatever happened to the good old days when the illegals came around, you gave them $10 and they dug you out.
Okay, we have James Meadows, a highly ranked traffic lawyer, former criminal lawyer dedicated to all moving violations throughout New York State. James handles all points-related moving violations in New York City, Long Island, and upstate New York. Speeding, red lights, cell phone, stop sign, failure to yield, and improper turn are traffic offenses with stiff penalties, including huge fines, points, increased insurance rates. suspension of your driver's license, and even being arrested. The law office of James Meadows is your best chance of beating your traffic ticket. Call 845-TICKETS. That's 845-842-5387. 845-842-5387.
845-842-5387. You know how Cuomo, whatever, Crackomo that I call him, and de Blasio mess you up? Well, Mr. Derrick Gibson is going to fix that. We're going to have a little chat with him about our DMV when the time comes along. Thank you so much, James Meadows, for always helping people out. We have Green Line Building Solutions. 718.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. 718-871-0382. You call us for what?
HPD, Preservation and Development, Fire Department, Criminal Court, Department of Finance, Environmental Control Board, Settlements, Building Consulting, Violation Removal, Construction Management, Owner
audience gets the
Compliance,
picture.
Contracting, Licensed Department of Building Expedators and Designs. Anything and everything under the sun for your building solution.
And whose
needs.
business might that be?
I have no idea.
Uncle Heshy, perhaps?
871-0382. That's 718-871-0382. Located in the heart of Brooklyn, 202 Foster Avenue.
Well, I just want you to know, today I was called to a building where 8 inspectors showed up from the health department, from the DHCR, from HPD, from DOB. And I said, I understand what you're doing. Oh, we're doing a task force inspection. I said, you're not coming in here. We're going to come through you. I said, I'm a big fat man, baby. You're not coming through nobody. 718-871-0382 for Green Line Building Solutions. We can solve any of your building problems, HPD problems, and when the governor gets in, I'm going to have a little chat with him about that, Mr. Derrick Gibson. We have next on the list Plaza Auto Leasing.
They are not only a leasing company, but also a dealership. You get the best of both worlds, the flexibility to lease or buy any vehicle, make, or model, combined with quick service, huge inventory, and easy approvals. There is no finance manager to meet with, just a friendly pal, Plaza Auto Leasing sales representative that can handle most of the transaction from start to finish without you even having to step foot in their office. All you have to do is place your order, and they will even deliver your car right to your door. What are you waiting for? Become a pal and call Plaza Auto Leasing today. That's 718-975-9000. 718-975-9000, located at 2750 Nostrand Avenue. Plaza Auto Leasing. Become a pal today. And don't forget to tell them Uncle Heshy sent you.
You know, I like Plaza Auto Leasing because I like walking into my places. So don't forget them. 718-975-9000. They have a wonderful staff. 2750 Nostrand Avenue in Brooklyn. Guys, really go in there. Enjoy it. They really have a good experience. What do we have next, Boomy, in our last ad?
Has your wife been driving you crazy to take that vacation that you promised her 20 years ago?
I did. I took her to Florida.
And notwithstanding
That's
the
a
place
nice
that's
tan
out
you
there,
got, Heshy.
she still wants to get away, and she wants that getaway you promised her. So how are you going to do it? Are you going to get on the computer? Are you going to go through one site to another to get the car, to get the hotel, to get the travel arrangements, the airport, the airline, the this, the that, the this? No, you're not. You're going to do it the right way. You're going to call Traveler's Choice, because they will get you all the arrangements in one simple phone call. They'll arrange your flight, they will arrange your hotel, they will arrange your motel, wherever you want to stay, they will arrange your car,
But
your
this is a
rental, your
1
leasing,
hour show.
anything you want and everything you want, and they will do it for you at the best price, at the best way possible. So make that phone call to Traveler's Choice, and their number is
212-868-8698, 212-868-8698.
And remember, Traveler's Choice is your only choice for travel.
You know, I want you to know why I'm upset with Traveler's Choice. I flew down to Florida, and I never got to see the beach. Do you think it's his fault?
I wouldn't blame him for that. I think you might have been a little too tied up. But
I was busy. People taking pictures.
did
People.
you at least get to Mar-a-Lago and visit?
I didn't get to Mar-a-Lago, but I did.
You were invited places Friday night, and if you didn't get to the beach, I know why you didn't get there, because you didn't even want to walk.
I did. I was on the beach. What do you mean I don't want to walk? I was on the beach. I just didn't get to the backyard. Anyways, HeshyTischler.com. HeshyTischler.com, guys. Don't forget, I need a donation. $25, $35, $100. And we're going to put up also Mr. Derrick Gibson's website. You're going to see that on our thing in a few minutes. We're going to talk about that. We need donations. You want to change. I'm the guy who's fighting for you. I'm going to get get into city council. Guys, I'm ready to rock and roll. I know it's coming in slow. Signatures are starting on February 22nd. For all of us, we're going to knock it out. I'm going to help Mr. Gibson get to be the governor. We need to have power. We need changes from these two wackos. HeshyDishler.com, HeshyDishler.com. And whatever, that's for my city council run. Now, guys, I want to talk to you. First of all, don't forget, if you want to call into the show, what number are they calling into the show? I'm sure my people don't know, but I'll tell you what it is anyways. It is 718-289-0070.
No, that's 0070.
718-289-0070. Is that correct, Sawyer? She still doesn't know her papers are all over the
right
place.
here.
Say the number, Sawyer.
718-289-0070. That's 718-289-0070.
Wrong. It was 0070.
A shout out to Mira Nava and
Mira Nava.
Sergeant Peter
Sergeant Peters.
and Ellie.
Ellie.
And my dear friend Dove Hyken. By the way, Mr. Gibson, have you ever met Dove Hyken?
I have it.
He was an assemblyman.
One more shout out.
He's a very great statesman.
One more shout out.
And I would love to introduce you to him. I think you should meet him.
He's going to meet him when he comes
Mazel
in.
tov, Dr. Lightman. Remember our guest, Dr. Lightman, his daughter Gabriella. I'm missing the engagement tonight.
Wow.
Mazel tov, Doctor.
Anyways, we're going to start our show now. We're going to talk to Mr. Gibson in a moment, and I want to just tell you a quote, and this quote is really Mr. Gibson, everything I have to say about him. We need to choose bold. We need to choose action. We need to choose what's right for the people. We need to choose someone to make a difference. And this is Mr. Derrick Gibson. He's the one we choose. He's bold. He makes action happen. He's a businessman. He's what's exactly right for our people. And I know that he will make a difference. And most importantly, here's a great quote. The purpose of government is to enable the people of a nation to live in safety and happiness. Government exists for the interests of the governed, not for the governors. And Mr. Derrick Gibson is going to be that governor whose interest is for the people, not just for himself, not for the position of power. And Mr. Gibson, I thank you so much for coming on the show. And we're going to do one more little quick thing, and then we're going to take you on. I want to tell you a funny joke, and I hope all of you laugh. This is the joke. It's about Linda, of course, a little bit. My son Yaakov, when he was going to school, so Linda he was 4 years old, and he was so excited to get to school. So Linda went with him to the bus, and him and his mother were both anxious. When the bus arrived, Yaakov started up the steps. He got on, and you saw Linda with tears in her eyes. She screams out to him, "What about a kiss?" So Yaakov goes backwards, kisses the bus driver, and then took his seat.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah,
He's a pretty shrewd young man.
I know that. Anyways, that's our joke for the day. I had another one, but I think I'm going to leave it alone. Let me tell you a little bit about Mr. Gibson. Derrick Gibson is a businessman. He's a true conservative running for governor against Mr. I call him Crackamoe, but Mr. Cuomo, who has tortured us. And you're going to see me posting up there, and I don't know if Mr. Derrick Gibson is going to like it, but he had 3 terrible ads. I mean, you saw what the Post wrote about him. We don't care about the dead. We don't care that they died. We don't care I put them into nursing homes. And the AG has a lawsuit going on against now that the governor's numbers are long. Mr. Gibson, I would like to plead to you, when you become governor, tell us what are you going to do? What are we going to make changes? How are we going to fix this state? And you're going to help our city.
It's a lot, like I say, I've been saying for a couple of years now. We have a cesspool in the state of New York, so we got to drain that. That's what we got to do, drain the cesspool. When I say a cesspool, I'm talking about in political offices and our government. That is the cesspool. It's got to be changed. People have been in office. They are comfortable. They don't govern for the people anymore. They govern for themselves and big cooperation. So I intend to put a stop for that and let the people govern again.
But my question to you is you have so many government agencies here. Are you going to just, I don't want to say anything like Trump, but are you going to finally clear the swamp? Are you going to get rid of these once and for all commissioners and put the people in charge, not just to milk our citizens and to fine us and tax us, but to make this economy so well that we're going to pay enough taxes that will cover our expenses and people are going broke. You have, how many people out of work here? But again, Mr.
Enormous percentage now, and it's just
Right, but I saw a number here with Mr. Fauci. How many people went bankrupt? How many people
While Fauci makes over $400,000 a year working for the federal government.
8 million Americans fell into poverty. I mean, my question to you is, Mr. Gibson, how do you plan on, I mean, you saw what our friend, I don't really call her our friend, AOC, how she threw out Amazon, $25 billion, and the governor allowed it. I mean, can't you and I go beg them to come back? You know, they just built a beautiful facility in Georgia and Texas. They could have brought us in $25 billion, 25,000 more jobs, and all the trickle-down of jobs to all the other boroughs. I mean, Mr. Gibson, can we go? Can't you think we can bring business back to New York?
Right, of course we can. We got to strip all the regulation and the nonsense regulation got to be stripped away. We got to give the businesses a tax holiday. When I say a tax holiday, I mean 6 months, a year, up to 5 years. We got to give them that tax holiday in order to get business back to our state. But more than that, in order to bring the business back that has fled and tracked our state to the new business, we got to get the crime under control. It's a huge thing with the crime right now. So let's do that first, get the crime under control, then we can start attracting our business back by tax cuts, etc.
So you also support maintaining and funding as necessary the police department to keep things,
Right.
Yes. Okay.
Correct. Who in their right mind would say defund law enforcement? Who would say something like that?
A lot of psychos out there.
Criminals.
Not a society. I can imagine that. So, I mean, it's foolery to even mention something like that. Yes, law enforcement needs reform. I 100% agree with that. But defunding the police, that's the most ignorant thing I've heard in my 60 years on earth.
I love you. Mr. Gibson,
I love him too already.
I want to ask you a question, and this might upset you, and I have no choice. You and I are both part of...
Mr. Producer?
that are going to be voting for you. You're going to be running for a state office. Do you think that we have prejudice? Do you think that people will look down on you and me saying, look, oh, he's a black guy, he's a Jewish guy. We don't want him just for that reason, even though you're the most competent, most conservative man that can save us? Do you think that would be an issue?
Right, we got some people out like that, but not the vast majority of people. Let's say the news media with the largest platform push that out there to create a narrative to keep you as a permanent underclass, have you thinking like that, but it's not like that. People want what people really want, regardless of the title they have, Democrat, Republican, whatever they are. They want their freedom back. They want to be able to do what the Constitution states they can do. They want to be able to exercise their God-given rights. So I don't look at the praises so much. Every man got some praises in him. That's just human nature. Every single one of them got some. We don't like. There's something that we don't like in every human being. So I wouldn't go so far as say we got a vast majority of people that are praises or something like that. No, I don't believe in it.
He gave the right answer, Heshy. 100% right. I love him.
I'm on your side.
Me too. He's got my vote.
I think you're a wonderful man, and I hope you can push that message across the state. At least in my neighborhood, I'm going to be taking you around. You're going to see that we're going to love you. We're going to put our hands out for you. Now, Mr. Gibson, right now, the coronavirus is down across the board over 16% in the state. We are one of the lowest ones with the coronavirus situation. We have the vaccine going out slower than Israel, slower than a lot of other places, but I don't know why we're so behind, but whatever.
Mr. Quackamo.
Right, he's running the job wrong. My question to you is why is he not allowing us to open up our restaurants till February 14th? Since we're giving the vaccines out, since we're coming down in the numbers, since everybody's really taking their precautions and listening to him, even though 9 health commissioners, quit on him. But why is he doing that? And then why is he not allowing us to open up our wedding halls till March 14th? I mean, is there a reason that he's torturing us? I mean, is he lost his brains? Either we're getting better or we're not getting better.
I have to add one thing before he answers that. My mother, she should live and be well. She's closing in on her mid-80s already, and she has not yet been called to get the vaccine.
You know, in Israel, they're even giving Americans vaccines. They're flying across the board. What's going on, Mr. Gibson? Are we just lost? Are they purposely hurting us? Are they hurting the minority communities? He keeps saying he wants to give to the black communities, but I'm going through Bushwick, Bed-Stuy, Bronx, and they're telling me they're not getting them. They're
And we
telling
don't
me
get them either.
They want them. The people actually want
My
them.
mother wants it. She's not getting it.
Right. Well, the rollout began backwards. Once again, it began backwards because they mix politics in with the vaccine. So we're going to give it to the community first. It shouldn't be no first. It shouldn't be given to first come, first served in the state of New York because you give it to this community first where all the blacks have them taken it, all the Jews have them taken it, all the whites or the Asians have them taken it. And then the vaccine that is left over the end of the day at the end of the week that you can't refrigerate is thrown away. Because you're simply pandering to one group or the other. It should be, okay, we have a vaccine. The first people that get here, they get the vaccine. Okay, I can understand our elderly, if they want to take the vaccine, we give it to them first because they're the most vulnerable to the coronavirus. Let's give it to them first, and after that, do not put groups out there and say, well, the black community takes it first, or the Asian community takes it first. It's complete nonsense. It makes absolutely no sense. And to go back to the opening up on February the 14th or whatever, that just, they pushed, they had an agenda going on, and this is what they did. They pushed it to get President Trump out of office to make him look bad. They closed states down. They closed the economy down because the man had a ruined economy, and they wanted to crash that in order to get him out of the way. He was in the way of the Great Reset.
And he was one of the best presidents we ever had. He did everything for everybody.
Right.
Well, you know, it's very sad. And I really, again, I say, like exactly like you said, my mom, again, she's in her 80s already, and she has not been called to get the vaccine.
It's not only the vaccine. We're just so unorganized, Mr. Gibson. And I don't know what you're going to do, because when you get in there, they're just going to attack you from all sides. And I hope you and your staff are just ready to rock and roll and start looking over these agencies, looking over these lifelong commissioners that are appointed in the state, from the health department, from the DHCR. These guys just are out there to punish us little people and not do their jobs. You know, today with the computers and with the uploading, that's what they make us do. They don't let us even come into their offices, but to come out and take care of us and do inspections can take months and months, and more fines, and court cases are so behind. It's like, if we don't move quickly enough, they punish us. We know with the system today, with the computerized system, things should be moving better. In my office, if I was running the place, I know that I can run the building department, the health department, the DOT, the DOS so much quicker, because the way I do things in my office, they lose their paperwork 10 times, and it's just unacceptable. And then, you know, you call some of these government agencies, Mr. Gibson, they don't pick up the calls for days.
Well, Heshy, you and Derrick are both businessmen, and we need that. Businessmen to drain the swamp or cesspool, whatever you prefer to call it, something that people that come from the outside and are not part of the swamp and cesspool, like those that have been destroying this country, coming from the outside and fixing things.
I got that. Mr. Gibson, what's your plan on the budget? How do you plan on, what's your idea on our budget that is, we're just always behind and lost?
First, I intend to cut the government is too huge down to about 50% and go downward from there. Because it's too huge, it's in your bedroom, it's in your religious institutions, it's everywhere you turn. The government are in those things. So I plan on enacting some civilian boards to look over, recommend, and cut the government down so it won't get in your way anymore.
That's what you spoke about, Heshy, reducing government spending.
I love you, and including the regular civilians. I love this. This is what you're supposed to be doing, yes.
Right, and the people deserve to govern. We are all grown up. We should govern for ourselves. We do have a central head, which is the governor. But the governor don't govern for the governor. You govern for the people. That's what the governor is supposed to do. But like I said, going back, cut the government back. The government is too huge. It's everywhere. It's every single place that it shouldn't be, and it works slowly. So in order to get the government to work efficient, we got to put it back in the hands of civilian control. It works much better under civilian control. And I tend to do just that. I know it's going to upset a lot of people in government, but it's time to change the whole trajectory of New York State government.
I love that. He's saying we don't need ubiquity, we need efficacy. as opposed to ubiquity.
Well, he's using fancy words. I'm just a plain guy, but I love what we understand what he's saying. Mr. Gibson, a very important question. These are personal problems that we have in my community and a lot of little communities around New York. Maybe it's around the state. One, I don't agree with drugs and marijuana. I hate it. I know it's going to bring in $1.5 billion in revenue, but I can't. I see these children falling apart.
So what about giving out for medical purposes,
Medical
under
purposes
prescriptions?
is something that we can't control. But
I don't think it should be legalized for people so that they could drink, they can go driving with it and be left with the even if they go and say it's illegal to drive while you're
Right.
People drive drunk,
Right,
so
but
they're gonna drive when they're high.
And once you legalize it, even though it's illegal, I know people get a hold of it, but at least if it's illegal, we'll ticket them, we'll punish them, we'll make them go to classes. But by legalizing it and they're walking down the streets, they can't work the next day. And my next problem is mental health. I have last year 104
Can
suicides.
we go one at a time? I like to hear Derek's take
I
on
want to
that.
get them both because I want them to get, they're both in the same issue. We had last year 104 suicides in my community alone. I'm not even going to the other neighborhoods and boroughs. And then we have Mrs. de Blasio, who blew $1.4 billion of your money, our money, on this mental health issue in New York City. This year alone, I already have in the last month over 6 young kids that commit suicide. And it's because of mental illness that we're not helping. It's not like they're crazy running on the streets naked. They just have these issues that nobody cares about. They're not going to school. I have a young boy now by me who hasn't gone to school in 5 months. Of course he's going to go nuts. Mr. Gibson, help us.
Right, and on the marijuana situation you were talking about, I don't agree with legalizing marijuana, but I don't agree with over-criminalizing marijuana either. They grow from the earth. I feel like this. I don't do drugs, never done them before, but I know several people that do smoke what's called weed or marijuana. And if you smoke it in a confined for your home, it's fine with me. I have no business in your house. But out in the street, out in the public, it shouldn't be allowed out there in public like that. I don't go for that. And I also did a lot of studying during my high school years on uppers and downers on the drugs. And it actually, the earlier you start, the more damage they have on your brain. So, yes, for medical use, I understand. Yeah, we make provisions for that so people can get it for medical use. But for a dollar, every dollar is not a good dollar. Well, I'm looking where we can make billions off if we legalize marijuana. That's foolish. You don't do that. Every dollar is not a good dollar because you're destroying your citizens. That's what you are doing. And you're making them unproductive, unfit to work in certain areas. They end up hurting themselves, causing millions of dollars in suits and all kind of crap going on. So I'm against the legalizing the marijuana, but I wouldn't just put my feet on it and just over-criminalize it.
No, I agree with you on that. I mean, if they want to grow it in their house, a plant, they want to smoke it themselves in their house, but not to be sold on the street corners. You're right. You have marijuana, you want to do it in your house, I got you. But on the streets, selling it to children, putting it into business, no good. And that's beautiful. You don't want to over-criminalize it, but you don't want it to be sold on the street. And I think if you put together a nice civilian from all the neighborhoods, from all the counties, from all over New York, I promise you'll come up with a better solution than we just did. What about mental health? You know that's a big issue in this state.
Mental health is a huge issue. We see it with our current governor and our current mayor. They have mental health issues. So their current governor is seeing he's paranoid, so he's seeing a psychologist for that. I don't know whether y'all know that or not right now. He's very paranoid. So he has mental issues himself. And also, what we need is open our mental facilities back up and stop using the PC not to do it and get these people off the street, because if we get state-of-the-art mental health centers, we can get these people functioning again, and most of them can work in a society along beside us. But at the present time, we're throwing them to the streets, and then they're turning into criminals. We just throw them inside of the jail. So it's absolutely not helping them at all, and it's making the situation worse. So I intend to look into that, see if we open up state-of-the-art mental health centers and get these people help so they can function in our society.
I'm getting a lot of comments that Governor Gibson will be the best governor ever. I mean, I love that. I love people are commenting on this. I would like to go a little bit now on a national level. AOC, our buddy, who got rid of Amazon, do you know that she claimed that she was attacked in her office? She wasn't even in the office when she was attacked. I mean, she lies.
Was in her office, but she wasn't in the congressional hall, which is in the building next door, I believe. She was she was in an adjoining building, but she wasn't right there in the premises proper where what had occurred.
What's your opinion of her? I mean, she. I hear that she wants to jump into the governor's race.
Manipulator.
She's a manipulator.
She's a fraud.
She got rid of our Amazon. She's not even a businesswoman. I don't even know how she can sit on a budget committee when she was a bartender. Not that I'm making fun of bartenders.
She's a kid out of nowhere.
Right,
and she doesn't belong in the United States House of Representatives, in my opinion. But I'll leave that to Derrick to tell us what he feels. It's more important.
Right, she's been a habitual liar since she's been in. Not only did she run Amazon away, but she have lied about every single thing. Most of that she said, and she pushed the race card, which is ridiculous. She came and spoke up on 7th Avenue, and I was there. She tried to speak like a black woman, like we dumb. The way she was saying it was just an insult to me and the entire black community. And the state capitol issue. My daughter worked in the state capitol in the Cannon building, and the Cannon building, yes, all of them connected by tunnel only. They are far apart. It's not like she was in the Capitol where this was going on at the Cannon building. It's far away. Sure, it's connected through a tunnel under the ground. Yes, she's trying to feed people lies and say, well, the whole thing is connected. It's only connected by that tunnel, and there's no way those people would have got into the tunnel. I've been in the tunnels myself. I know about the whole Capitol, the underground system and all. So she's telling a lie on TV and on social media everywhere. It's insane for her to put that out, but it's the same thing she did when she went to the border. She had she faked that out also about the kids being kept in cages. AOC is a disgrace to the state of New York. So is Governor Cuomo, Mayor de Blasio, and all these communists that I call.
That's right, these socialists.
So Mr. Gibson, if you were,
just like I see it.
Mr. Gibson, if you were governor, would you be able to? I mean, you are the boss. Would you get rid of the mayor? Would you put him on leave or whatever, suspend him? I mean, you can. You have that power to do it. And you see, this man is lost. What he's doing to our city. I mean,
I don't know. Wait a minute. Does the governor have that kind of authority?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Right. The governor does have the power to remove the mayor. You can read it. You can read up on that.
Okay.
But exactly, Mayor de Blasio, I would have been moved him from day one. He has destroyed the entire New York City. I live in New York City. He has destroyed it. He has increased crime. I can't.
It's a shooting gallery.
Why do you think Cuomo didn't get rid of de Blasio?
Why do I think what?
That Cuomo did not get rid of de Blasio.
Well, they two peas in a pod. That's why they didn't get rid of them.
Political allies.
They are the same. They play like, well, I'm against him and he's against me, but they are the same, and they have the same objective. And that objective is to bring in socialism and everything else to the state of New York. And that's why they always speak about raising the taxes on the 1%. They don't want you to work. They want to be able to control you. They feel they can give enough money out of the 1% to control the vast majority of the people. Therefore, they have you under their feet, and they can do whatever they need to do.
They want us to move out. They're not going to. Now, I want to tell you something. You and I have been around a long time, and the sanitation department. All you had to do was be in touch with them, and I was in touch with our local people, our local sanitation. People were calling me throughout the time because they couldn't reach a lot of our politicians, and my sanitation people cleaned the streets. You're talking the next day we had all the streets clean, people running up and down, all the cars back out there. This mayor just made a state of emergency. I mean, the governor, whatever, the mayor, to just stop. You and I have seen snowstorms bigger. I mean, a little bit of snow. You're right. Be safe. Be careful. You don't want to go out. But he stops a whole city with state of emergency. Tell people not to go out. It's dangerous. But shutting down the city again, he keeps shutting us down. And you know what? The sanitation was out there. I watched them day, night. The next morning, boom, our streets were 99% clean. Of course, they couldn't get to any of the road. I want to thank our wonderful guys from the Department of Sanitation. Every time I saw them, I used to clap and put my finger out for them and take pictures with them.
Sawyer used to give them drinks and ice cream when they came by.
You can't, but we have to stop that. And don't get me angry. I don't get angry now. But I would like that a governor and a mayor should not have the right to just call state of emergencies or make executive orders. They have to have some kind of, like the Assembly and the Senate. I know it's complicated to work with, but right now the mayor just keeps making executive orders. I'm going to be submitting a bill to City Council to recall any mayor when we want. Would you support that bill? I mean, not when we want, but if the people want
If
it.
necessary.
If necessary, they come up with enough votes, like they're doing in California. I would like you, Mr. Gibson, to support us, saying, listen, if you guys are not happy with him, yes, we can pull his term out early.
Right, and I support that 100%. I have spoke on that. We don't have recall, none of that. We need to bring that back. We need to bring recall back. We need term limits. We need it all, because no politician should be able to be in office over and over and over again because corruption set in. When you stay in office so long, you invite corruption to come in, and temptation is something to deal with. So you were saying about the Como uses his power because he uses his power because the legislature gave it to him all the way up to March, so he can enact those emergencies anytime he get ready. But if you notice, he shut the city down and told you not to get on the road. But what did he do? He came all the way from Albany to New York City himself. So why did he do that? If it's too dangerous to be on the road, why was he on the road? So
They get run amok with
Because
power.
nothing applies to him.
Right, he has parties, he has his...
None of the rules apply to him.
Right, with all the governors. And I love that. You see, look at you. You're running for governor, you're going to put term limits in, you're going to let us do recall. I hope you buckle down in that Senate and that Assembly, that state Senate. I want you to put them in their place, Mr. Gibson. And people are just giving me comments here how they're excited about you. I'm very excited about you.
Do we have any callers that would like to ask any questions?
718-289-0070. We'll take some callers in a few seconds. Call on in. Avon will pick up the calls, and we're going to talk to you. My question to you now is, I want to go one more subject with you. By the way, just for your knowledge, 20 years of government understood that their job was to deal with the snow so people can get around. Now, just for your knowledge, Mr. de Blasio just bans travel so they don't have to do their job. I mean, it's just crazy. How do you just stop? That's why you don't have to shovel, because you don't let the people out. He wants to keep us prisoners constantly, Mr. Gibson. He wants to keep us locked up. Every time we beat the governor in court, he makes a new executive order. It's just not fair.
Sounds just like Joe Biden. One executive order after
not
42 executive orders and days in office. Reversing everything that was good.
Do you think that the Senate, now that it is controlled supposedly by the Democrats, is it going to hurt our state, or are we just going to do what we have to do? And we shouldn't. People are worried that now that the Senate is controlled by the Democrats, they will affect our state of New York. Will that affect us, or as you as governor will be able to keep the outside influences going?
Right, as governor, I will be able to do that. But of course, they're going to try. They're going to try to enact all the garbage in New York first, California. That's where they put all the garbage at, and then let it weasel its way down to other states. So in New York, it's a test place for all the idiotic ideals that they have.
Okay, we want to take a phone call for you, Mr. Gibson. Let's take a call. Let's put him on the air. Hello, you're on the air with Bumi, Heshy, Sawyer, and Mr. Gibson. Who's calling?
My name is Mike.
Hello, Mike. How are you? What do you got to ask us?
I just want to say I'm a big fan of Heshy.
Thank you so much. Well,
when he went over to that Muslim kid and asked her if he was gonna and asked her if she was
okay, hang up on the guy. Let me just tell you something. Everybody makes, they have. Why don't you? He does. He's not
Mr.
even blind.
Producer.
You know what? These people, Mr. Gibson, are always out to get us. There's a bounty on my head. Since I don't do drugs, since I don't cheat on my wife, since I don't steal from people, they're trying to find little things to get on me. And my mouth does run, Mr. Gibson. You know why? Because I say what I mean, and if somebody does something wrong or somebody tries to bully somebody else, I will push back, and that's what I believe you are, Mr. Gibson. I know that you're going to push back. I know you're not going to let them bully us around. Let's take another phone call.
Derrick, in the meantime, I ask, when is the upcoming gubernatorial election?
2022.
2020. Oh, my God. So you mean we still have another year?
2021?
Still have over a year.
Over a year still with Cuomo.
Right.
Oh, God.
Let's take a phone call. You're on the air with Heshy, Sawyer, Bumi, and Mr. Gibson. I think they hung up. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Florida and California are a cashless economy. Tim Cook, the former head of Apple, has come out in a GQ magazine article and said that the digital economy is going to be about imposing limitations everywhere you go. If you go somewhere and all you got is cash, what are you going to do? Are you going to support the cash economy here in Brooklyn and in New York City?
Well, that's a good question. Thank you for your
Heshy,
call.
do you have a subscription to the GQ?
I don't really understand that question, Mr. Gibson. What does he mean?
Models for GQ.
We're not going to be able to use cash anymore?
Right, and what he's saying, a digital society, when you use the cards and everything else, and you have cash, but I know it was coming to this. It's going to come to a digital society. So when they feel like you maybe you saying the wrong thing or you're doing the wrong thing, they can cut you off. The card will no longer work. So that's all about control also. And he asked me would I support cash in New York. Of course I will, 100%. But that's only in New York for as I can go with. But that what he just spoke are the things that they want to put intact to kill our free speech, to control us. So you can't say this, you can't say that. Think about what they are doing. It's all about control. Everything in the Great Reset.
I didn't even think of that. That's brilliant. They want to be able to make us not use cash, so when we use our cards or whatever, our phones, they will be able to cut us off, and we're stuck. Wow, please help us. Don't let that happen.
I had not heard that before either, and I am wowed by that. But I believe in what's going on. I mean, we certainly our liberties are being restricted unconstitutionally across the board. And I think that's based on a democratic base and a cadre of evil, starting from Pelosi and Schumer and then the squad. But
Mr. Gibson said he's going to try to keep the federal crazies out of here, and we're going to just run our state with our own constitution, and we're going to try to help the people.
But states have a certain amount of autonomy, a great deal of autonomy according to the U.S. Constitution. Nevertheless, we still do have to answer on a federal level, which means to a great extent, Derrick is going to have to be fighting against the federal government, depending on which way the federal government will be going.
So one of the questions, Mr. Gibson, they're asking, you're running as a Republican. Yes, we know Mr. Pataki ran as a Republican too. You now win the governorship. Don't you, and you know that the Assembly and the Senate is going to have problems. How do you plan on fighting these two bodies as a Republican when they're going to purposely try to go against you?
Right, and I'm hoping and praying that we have people that bold enough to run for the Senate in the state of New York and the legislative branch of New York, because it makes it much easier to get things done. You can't do, I can do a lot of things with the EO, but you can't do a lot of things with the EO because they're already ingrained into the system. So it's going to take the legislature to overturn these things, such as the SAFE Act. It's going to take a legislature to overturn all the EO that they have done to the state of New York. As a governor, by myself, I won't be able to do it. They got locks on that.
Wow. We're going to take another caller. Let's take another caller. Hello, you're on the air with Heshy, Bumisoya, Mr. Gibson. Hello?
You're on the air. Speak up. Don't be shy.
Hey, Heshy, Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Oh, my God, Heshy. I've been a fan for such a long time. Oh, my God, this is amazing.
Go ahead. Give us a question, my son.
I got a big question for you. Okay. So it's about immigration.
Go ahead,
so
speak.
Considering all these, unskilled, a lot of times low IQ people from the third world that come to America, and they're actually outbreeding the main American population, do you think we should put in restrictions to keep, Americans number one?
Of course, but I'm sorry, that should be for Mr. Gibson.
Mr. Gibson,
answer.
you have to answer
Please.
that question. You have, to what I understand, you have a big immigrant problem. And now New York is a safe state or a safe city. I don't think we should throw out our immigrants. I mean, they've been taxpayers, and I have a different opinion than a lot of Republicans because I believe that the people over here who have built themselves up from the bootstraps, I don't know.
Heshy, there's a difference between legal immigrants and illegal immigrants.
I understand, but there are people.
You have to make a distinction. We're a country with borders.
I got you, but now that they're here, what do we do with them? Mr. Gibson, what is your solution?
Right.
We have a lot of them.
So I've been saying this for a while. It's no place for illegal immigrants in the state of New York or nowhere in America. But specifically the state of New York under my administration, if you're illegal, you're welcome to go anywhere else in the United States, but New York State will not be providing for you. You will not be taking the jobs from our citizens. New York State citizens. It's not fair. We have illegal aliens now. We have illegal aliens voting. We have over 500,000 in the state of New York. It makes absolutely no sense. Our tax dollars are going to people from other countries, which our federal government sends billions to that country, and then in return they send their poor to our country to usurp the rest of the money from us. I have zero tolerance for anybody here illegal. Legal immigrants are just as much as a U.S. citizen I am, and I was born here. But when it's a big difference, illegal, I don't care if you've been here 20 years. If you're here illegally, that means you didn't think enough about America to try to get your citizenship by now, then you don't deserve to be here. So that's just how I feel, and I will act accordingly as governor.
And I support that position 1,000%.
I'm scared of that subject. I'm scared. That was very interesting. Let's take another caller, everybody. Who's on the air? It's Heshy, Bumi, Soya, and Mr. Gibson.
What about the people that come here to this country and they're here, they came here illegally, like let's say 10, 15 years ago, and they ended up getting married and having kids, and their kids are grown up, or they even have grandkids, and they're just afraid to go to the authorities because they're going to be thrown, and then they're going to be separated either from their wife or their children or...
Soya, there is a process.
I want to hear what he thinks.
And if I committed murder 15 years ago and I straightened myself out, got married...
I don't think murder is the same exact thing as coming in here illegally.
I don't have consequences. So you have to pay for your consequences regardless of what transpired after what you did. You still have consequences to pay for.
Right.
He's right. And there is a process.
But there's
a process and there's a reason.
On the bad crimes, I got you, but people do make mistakes. There's shoplifting, somebody had a fight with his wife, and, they blow it up.
Heshy, that's why there are misdemeanors and why there are felonies. Well, a misdemeanor does not get the same punishment as a felony does.
I also think that people that are coming here to this country, like in other countries, I think they should be contributing something to this country. So let's say if a person wants to come...
I think they should first come here legally.
If a person wants to come here, I'm thinking like if they're learning a medical something in the medical field or some other profession, if they're able to contribute to this country and that they're going to be able to have a job and not depend on the kindness and welfare of this country, then I think they should be given an opportunity before somebody else that would be coming over here that would be, trying to siphon funds from the government that should be coming to its citizens.
Everybody has an opportunity to come to these shores, to the United States, legally. There is a process. Everybody has that chance. That is what the Statute of Liberty stands for. That is what our country is founded upon. And I think you'd agree with me, Derrick, that that's exactly the way it is. But there is a legal... Yes. There is a legal process.
And I mean, we're a nation, or we're supposed to be a nation of laws and rules, and we are ignoring them where it's convenient to ignore. We can't do that. We don't need to do that any longer. It's the right way to come here. Come here that way regardless. Come here that way, and then we welcome you with open arms. We help you. We do whatever else, try to get you lifted up so you can survive on your own. But sneaking across the border, coming here like that, or flying on a plane here illegally, whatever, you should not be awarded anything but a deportation order back to wherever you came from. I'm not trying to be harsh, but this is reality. I've seen enough of our American citizens suffering, living under the bridges, all outside every city that I travel and see. This hurts me to my heart. American citizens and our veterans are struggling and suffering while we help illegal immigrants do whatever. And something else, the ones that was brought here as a baby, we can't fault them for that. They should have been given a right to citizenship because they're right. They don't know anywhere else. The 11 million, however many that is, of course they don't know. You can't put them in a country they never came from. Those are the ones we should be dealing with, not the one that crossed the border here recently, back a few years ago, as grown-ups or whatever. I can understand. But those 11 million, they say it's 11 million that was brought here as kids. Sure, we should treat them like citizens. We should get them a path to citizenship.
Wow, you're great. There was a news report recently that Elon Musk and Donald Trump Jr. are going to join forces to create a new social media platform.
I love this.
To compete against Facebook and whatever. What is your opinion on? I mean, we're scared. I mean, every minute, you know, YouTube cancels one of my little clips because they don't like me against saying anything against the hospitals. Facebook doesn't like me when somebody curses me out, so I call them back an idiot. What do you think about the social media constantly editing us and censoring us? Can New York, as governor, can you stop this? Can you threaten them? Can you say, hey guys, if you continue to do this and enough complaints, we can stop you in the state of New York from even working here?
Why can't New York do what
Of
Florida?
course we would. Of course I would do that. And it's funny that you mentioned about Don Jr. and Elon Musk. Well, I got somebody that is 20 feet or 20 steps ahead of them. It's a young lady that live up in Buffalo, and they already have a platform. They have the platform to take Microsoft out. It has been looked at by Microsoft. The only thing we need is investors. Right now, she asked me about it yesterday. She told me to take it to Don Jr. It's already here. They just need the investors to take it out. It'll take out Microsoft completely. So we have that in the state of New York now and ready to go. And all we need is investors, and it's a new world.
But
so Don Jr. and Elon Musk is going to take a while to do that. She's already there.
But
So maybe you can bring it to Don Jr. and say, listen, put a merger between them.
You saw what they did to Parler. They just knocked Parler out in 1 minute.
Right. And so this platform will make all of them, Facebook and all of them, null and void. It would be absolutely no use for them at all because Microsoft they the same as Microsoft, but better. So when we get out the air on tomorrow, Hershey, you'll call me and I'll put you in touch with her so we can get this moving.
I love you. You are the best.
There's good things out there for conservatives and everybody else because nobody speaks. I don't care who you are, liberal, Democrat. Why are you killing the speech? Yeah, well, that's hate speech. Well, it's just right to have a hate or whatever it is. Just say what you say. Hey, as long as you're not derogatory and saying making threats, it's fine. We got freedom of speech, so let's do that.
You're great. Let's take another caller. Do we have another caller over there? We're not going to take another caller. Okay, fine. Question: as governor, you have a wide budget that actually works with not only the homeless, which is a very bad. Just in New York City, we have 69,000 homeless people, and 20,000 of that, Mr. Derrick Gibson, are children. Now, in different communities, and I'm going to be one of those people that should be screamed at as well. We don't want the homeless shelters in our neighborhoods. I don't know all the communities, but nobody really wants them. But we have so many areas that are downtrodden. I'm not saying shove the homeless there, but we spend so much money on taking care of them and overpaying the hotels and overpaying these shelters. We can build proper homeless housing instead of putting them in apartment buildings or sticking them into nursing in homes. We can build transition homes. We can set them up to teach them, like you said. And you're right. We're not going to be able to save everybody, but we have so much money in our budget that we've been blowing away on stupidity. $80 a night, $100 a night. It comes out to be $3,000 a person when a normal person pays rent for a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, even though it's a lot of money, $2,000, $3,000. You have billions of dollars in this budget locally and statewide. We need to be able to work on this homeless issue. I think that there's so much space throughout the state. I don't want to take people, I don't want to move them out of the city, but I have so many areas in New York that are so downtrodden that we can build beautiful homeless housing in all different areas and teach these people to transition into their own homes. I mean, is there a way that you have a plan on helping us with this?
Right, I do have a plan, and I've talked about it before. It's funny that you bring this up also because I've been studying this for a while, and in my company, we do construction, consulting, and all that. So I'm in talks with a young lady, mental health professional, upstate New York now, and about creating the homes for the homeless people to transition them into, along with the hotel, and then finally transition them over into their home. We have a plan in place in upstate New York to do just what you're speaking of. These people will be glad to move out of the city of New York and move upstate and on their own home. We have that, and that came under President Trump on the opportunity zone. I work with the federal opportunity zones, and they are 100 maybe 105 in the state of New York, and the governor has the right to delegate more. So I am working on that right now as we speak. And to go back to the homeless shelters in the city of New York, yes, we have a lot of homeless, but it's not New York State citizens that are mostly living in these shelters. They are illegal aliens living in there. And I noticed, I won't call the person name because they work there, and it's filled with illegal aliens. I actually went in myself. None of them can speak English or nothing. It's brought across the border and put in New York City shelters. So it's not beneficial to the citizens of the state of New York. It's only for illegal aliens there. And yes, we're paying anywhere from $3,000, I think $3,000 or $4,000 a week or a month to house just one person or one family in those
ridiculous
hotels, which makes absolutely no sense. It's so much waste that we could cut. I could say, I don't want no New York citizen to pay any taxes for 5 years. If we cut that waste, we will still have a good budget and be able to prosper like we should.
Wow, you
believe great. You would be able to balance the budget?
Of course. I have a surplus. It's no reason not to have a surplus right now. We're just doing a lot of lavish spending, and we're spending money on the wrong things. Say, for instance, in Harlem, maybe 2-3 years ago, when it was up to do the trash cans again on the street, some company bid at $500 a can, and another company bid at, said we'll do it for $2,000 a can. Which one do you think we grabbed onto?
The 2,000? Because we're savvy shoppers.
Right, so that's waste. That's government waste. It makes.
But they had a designer logo on it.
But
City of New York suckers.
Our leaders is getting kickback, so I'm gonna take the $2,000 trash can and sell on the street so I can get me $500 back out. And there's a lot of garbage going on in the state of New York. Like I said, I could tell you, don't pay tax, no income, state tax for 5 years, and we'll be prosperous. I could do just that. I could take the property that the state of New York own. Not nobody out familiar with that, but we own several properties. We could take those properties and sell them for maybe 50%, or I would say 30% below the market value, and have tons of money. Wow. And we just take those abandoned properties that the state of New York owns. We have tons of money. So do your research and look up what the state of New York owns. I mean, just sitting there, it makes absolutely zero sense.
And Mr.
Derrick,
Gibson, somebody has a question for me. A lot of landlords are getting angry that Mr. Cuomo is holding back. We're going to take a phone. Let me take a phone call. Take a phone call first, and I'll ask this question with the landlords later. Hello, you're on the air with Heshy, Boomy, Sawyer, and Mr. Gibson.
Speak up. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, I saw that.
Speak up. Speak up.
I just wanted to tell him he has a great sweater.
I don't know. He says, Musabi, you have a great voice. Anyways.
I don't know. It sounded like butter or something.
Mr. Gibson, let's get back to my question. A lot of the landlords who have invested in these buildings, fixed their buildings, followed HPD regulations, which I know as a receiver for HPD, that they go over budget. They spend crazy money and then bill crazy money to the landlords, and the landlords could do it at 1/10 of the price. And still, the way they work is they don't care about a profit. They give it out. They blow the money. Then they take these buildings away. You have landlords that are just in trouble. They still have to pay their taxes. They have to pay it with interest. And what's going on is that we're not allowing them to people are not paying their rent, not because they can't. Of course, if they can't, they have an issue. We understand to go before a judge. But right now, with these moratoriums that have gone on for over a year, I mean, these people are going bankrupt. There's no way for them to continue running their buildings.
The city can't budget themselves, and they want other people that are not collecting rents to pay taxes and fines and who knows what else.
Mr. Gibson, I would like to talk to you about that as well. I would like to request, since the city and the state have just imposed crazy fines, when you get into governorship, I'm telling people not to pay them. I'm hoping you do some kind of an amnesty on these crazy masks and open store COVID violations, which were nothing. If you didn't have all your papers or you're missing one paper, I know a guy who followed every single rule and he was missing one document filled out, $5,000 fine. You've got to help us with this.
Right, and I will. Once again, that just control. It has to be removed. The economy has to be open back up. Continue to take your precaution. Everybody is grown, have common sense. Take your precaution. Open your business and keep it going. That's it. It's just that simple. It makes absolutely no sense to close business down. It makes, going back to the landlord. When you say the guys where they spend this or spend that, but on some of those things, if you don't spend, if the New York State gives you $2 billion and you don't spend it all, so that means the next time you don't get that much money. So in order to keep getting that same amount of money or more, you got to spend it regardless of whether you need to spend it or not. So that's how government works, completely backwards. Instead of them rewarding you for not spending that money, they penalize you for not spending.
Right? That would make more sense to reward you for being responsible.
Right, but they don't do that.
We're going to take one last call before we end the show. We're going to take one more call. Let's go. You're on the air with Mr. Gibson, Boomy, and Sawyer. How are you?
Hello? Oh, hey, my name is Jacoby, and I just want to say I'm a huge fan of Heshy.
Thank you, Jacoby.
Right? So about the 40 executive orders, I just want to say before that, I was really inspired when he called the 17-year-old girl delicious.
Oh, God.
To be a pedophile and a
I don't know what's he talking about. I have no idea what he's talking
Probably
about.
Biden being calling a 17-year-old girl delicious.
I call everybody delicious, but I don't know. I think everybody's delicious. I think everybody's great. I love everybody. Mr. Gibson, you are a great guest.
You are
can't wait to meet you.
Thank you so much for coming on the air with us.
I'm going to give you a call tomorrow. We're going to get some dinner together. You're going to come to my house for Shabbos and scream at me and tell me what you want me to do.
Thank you. And don't forget, I'm open carry, okay? You need a way to protect yourself.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Don't worry about it. We love you. Thank you, Mr. Gibson, for your call.
Great having you, Mr. Gibson.
Thank y'all.
Derrick,
We're coming to the end of the show, everybody. Boomy and Sawyer, you are wonderful.
Aww.
And here's my closing arguments to you guys. Listen, I'm keeping our wedding halls open. I'm keeping our synagogues open. I'm keeping our schools open.
You're keeping our pizza stores open.
I'm keeping them in business. But I want you to know,
Good
guys.
night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. We love you. Where's the music? How come they're not playing the goodbye music? Anyways, thank you, everybody. We love you. Please come back. Tune in next week. We'll be here.